This weekend, unplug. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a successful motivational speaker and trusted life coach, Nancy knows how you can live the life you want regardless of the challenges you face. Although she's legally blind, Nancy's mission is to inspire others to overcome obstacles and live life full out. Call in at 800-333-0001 to ask Nancy for advice on topics such as relationships, finances, business, health, and more. Just call 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we're going to talk about being healthy in life. Who does not want that? We all want to be healthy. We want to feel good. And that's a large part of living full out. You know, that moment when you wake up, you want to wake up refreshed if possible. You want to go to sleep refreshed, ready to just embrace your dreams with everything you have. It's just important that throughout the day, from waking up to falling asleep, that you do the best to take care of yourself, whether that means nurturing your body, your mind, your heart, your soul. And living full out is about that journey. It's about understanding over the years how your body works, how your mind works, what's required to give you the energy that you need to move forward. So that's going to be our focus today. We will be taking your call. Number again is 800-333-0001. And also coming up in our next segment, we'll have Kate Waite. She's our inspirational guest today, and she's going to be sharing with us a story about, being burned. I can't even imagine the pain that must have been, and how she overcame that, and how she looks at that experience today with not reflection of disgust or despair, but beauty. The beauties are always in the flaws. So we're going to stay tuned for that. If you do want to catch today's show again, go ahead and go to livingfullout.com, and you can click on the radio page and hear the recording of today's call or any of our past shows. And of course, you can listen live there each week. We're going to go to the phone lines now and welcome one of our callers. Hello, thank you. Welcome to the show.
Hi, Nancy. I was calling because I was wondering, how can I better live in the present moment? You know, I'm having a lot of trouble dealing with the stress that the future holds, and would love some advice about how to better deal with this anxiety and just kind of enjoy the present.
I love that. Great question. Well, in 30 seconds or less, what is the number one stressor in your life?
About not being successful in the future and not achieving the goals and dreams that I so desire.
Mm-hmm. That can be a kind of haunting, right? And it hasn't even happened yet. The future hasn't happened. Yeah. Let me ask you a question. Up until this point in your life, do you feel as though you've been successful in just living a good life? Have you been good to your friends? Have you been good to yourself? Have you tried hard?
You know, I have, but I always know I can do better, and I think that I'm afraid that what if I don't, do better in my life, and what if all the what ifs start, clouding my mind.
Mm-hmm. Those what ifs are pretty scary, right? Because
yes,
they come into our mind and they kind of make us doubt ourselves. Well, let's ask me. I want to ask you this question: do you like who you are?
Yes, I would say that.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. And what would you say is your best quality?
I'm very friendly, I would say.
Oh, you're very friendly. Okay. So that's one of your best qualities in terms of maybe how you treat others. And what would you say is your best physical quality?
My eyes, I think. That's my favorite. My mom always likes eyes. They're just like my mom's, that's why.
Eyes are good. Okay, so now we know that you're friendly. We know that you have beautiful eyes. And if you were to say, what is your favorite hobby, would you say?
I love to sing and play the piano.
Okay, music and piano's good. I wish I had stayed with that as a child. I love the piano. I unfortunately gave it up, so I admire you for that fact. Okay, so where I'm going with this is all of these questions I'm asking you right now, They're everything that you feel. They're everything that you think about yourself, how people think of you in the now.
Yeah.
I didn't ask you about your best quality in the future. Mm-hmm. I didn't ask you about your greatest hobby in the future. So the thing about the here and the now and how you can always stay present with it is to simplify your life just like we did, where I just asked you questions about what you think, what you feel right now. That will always keep you in the here and now.
Yeah.
And so as much as the ifs, the what ifs, and as much as your fears about success or, reaching a certain level are kind of lingering out there, the way that you always get yourself back to the here and now is focus on now, because there is no tomorrow. There's no guarantees of tomorrow,
Yeah.
And so every day that you're feeling overwhelmed and you need to get yourself centered, I want you to ask yourself in the moment, how do I feel right now? And if it's a negative feeling, then I want you to go to positive questions. What has happened good today? Now, maybe the only thing that happened good today is that you brushed your teeth and now you have clean teeth. Okay? But something has still happened, right?
Yeah.
So whenever life gets really complicated, whenever the what ifs go circling around you, take it very simple and ask yourself positive questions that make yourself answer those questions in a way that goes, you know what? I'm grateful for what I got. I'm here. I'm breathing where others aren't.
Yeah.
Okay?
Thank you.
So of course. Well, thank you for going that journey with me. And, I'm wishing you peace today. I'm wishing you just lots of calm energy, okay?
Yeah, thank you. I will definitely take that advice.
Awesome. Thank you for calling in.
Yes, thanks.
So that was we're doing all we can to live a full life, live our life full out in a big way. We're going to go back to the phone lines again. Hello, welcome to the Living Full Out Show.
Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. What's going on today? How can we help you?
So I'm trying to get an internship in the entertainment industry, but it's been really hard. So I was wondering, how can I stand out among other applicants?
Good question. First of all, do you think that you are a small fish in a big pond, or do you think that you're a big fish in a small pond?
Probably a small fish in a big pond.
Okay. Have you ever been a big fish in a small pond?
Yeah, maybe in high school.
Okay. What was it about high school? What was it about you back then that made you feel, you know what, I got this?
I think I had a bigger role. I did a lot more in student government, and I was actually held senior secretary, and I kind of knew what I was doing, whereas now I don't really have an exact thing where I'm in charge of something. Okay, great. Well, the reason where I'm going with that is that feeling you want now. You want that feeling back, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Right. And you know that if you have that confidence, if you have that feeling, even though, yes, the entertainment industry is a big industry, you have the ability to have that big fish feeling in a small pond. And only you can give that to yourself. And how you do that is you're never going to eliminate the competition. They're never going to go anywhere. But confidence is a beautiful, attractive quality. It doesn't matter if you're applying for a job, an internship, if you're dating. When somebody has swagger, when they have that confidence, you could go into a room with 500 people and you're going to stand out. So how you want to build your confidence is just to really wrap your arms wrapped around who it is that you want to be and the industry that you're going into. So do you know what you want to do as for a living?
I want to do marketing for TV and movies.
Perfect. So here's what I would do then. I would do some research and I would find some professionals that are doing marketing in the entertainment industry.
Okay.
And I would call them, and even if they're a big fish, doesn't matter, call them up and let them know that you'd like to shadow them for a day, half a day, an hour. Or can I interview on the phone? And you don't have to do this with just one person. Do this with multiple people. As you shadow people, as you interview people, you're going to start to understand the stresses of their day, the ins and outs of their day. You're going to start to learn the terminology that they use within their position. And all of that information is now going to become yours. And you're going to be able to talk that way. You're going to be able to behave that way. And that will slowly build your confidence. Okay. And then, there's also a lot of ways that you can connect with people on LinkedIn. I don't know if you use that tool or not, but that's a great way to connect with folks. So,
yes,
the good, there you go. Awesome. So you know what the good news is?
What?
The good news is you haven't done everything you can or could.
Okay.
So you can only go up from here. You're like a balloon that's going to fly higher than you'd ever know. You just got to set yourself free, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. Thank you for calling in.
Of course. Thank you so much.
You got it. Bye-bye. So she brings up, a great question. How do you become that balloon? How do you set yourself free? How do you become that big fish in a small pond? And you do that by confidence. You do that by putting yourself in positions that are healthy, not just healthy from the place of nutrition and weight loss and any of that. I mean healthy in terms of your mind, healthy in terms of the people you hang out with. And of course, working out, eating the right things, sleeping well, all that goes together. The great news is that's all in our control. It really is. So as we further through this show today, again, I want you to think about what can you do to make your life healthier. Now, we're going to be coming right back with our inspirational guest, Kate Waite. And, of course, if you have any questions, call us at 800-333-0001, and we'll get you on the air. We'll be right back after this break.
Hey, what's up? Thinking about you. XOXOXO. Want to snuggle. ... JK. Hit me back. You getting these texts? ? We should hang later. I miss you. Holla at ya, boy. Holla back. Holla back. Holla back. Are you at home? Where are you? What are you doing? OMG. You are making me mad. Are you with your ex? You better text me back. I'm waiting outside your house.
Relentless, aggressive texting is like sending an angry robot to deliver your message. When does the robot become dangerous? Let us know at that'snotcool.com.
That'snotcool.com.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
Hi, I can't come to the phone right now because I'm abusing my children. Not just verbally, but physically. I'll get back to you.
If only child abuse was this easy to recognize. If you even suspect abuse, call Child Help at 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit childhelp.org. We've helped millions of people help millions of children. All calls are anonymous and confidential, so call 1-800-4A-CHILD or visit childhelp.org. Child Help. Trust your instincts. Brought to you by Child Help and the Ad Council.
Driving has a rhythm all its own. Don't wreck it with a text. Before you get behind the wheel, silence your phone. Or better yet, designate a texter. For more text-free driving tips, visit stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
In the world of fairy tales, Sleeping Beauty had 3 good fairies to protect her. But in our world, protecting the beauty of the forest is the responsibility of everyone.
Listen well, all of you.
9 out of 10 wildfires are caused by humans and can be prevented.
We'll all pitch in. If humans can do it, so can we.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Log on to SmokeyBear.com to find out what you can do. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. A professional motivational speaker, Nancy can help you overcome obstacles and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Hello, this is the Living Full Out Show. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Nancy Solari, and today we're talking about being healthy and doing all we can to live a healthy lifestyle, really every day. And that's not easy. Sometimes there's circumstances that pull us in different directions, or sometimes there's events in our life that are a bit out of our control. But you just want to try to do the best you can to live the healthiest life despite those circumstances. And our inspirational guest, Kate Waite, who I'd like to introduce now, is a great example of how she took a situation early on in her life and really flourished beyond that. She did not let the burns of an accident at 15 hold her back from letting her beauty shine. And that will make more sense as we go along and hear her story. So, Kate, I'd like to welcome you to the show.
Hi, Nancy. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very much honored to be with you today.
Oh, man, I'm excited to have you, too. And I feel like I've known you forever. But finally, we got you on the show. This is exciting. But, Kate, your story actually to me is really interesting because I want to take everybody back to when you were 15, when this accident happened. But it's just important for everybody to realize, well, everybody's accident or incident in life is unique to theirs. Hear Kate's story a little bit with preventative in your mind, meaning that we can't always prevent things, but it's interesting to hear how somebody took an accident like this and was able to survive, get through it, and grow from it. So that's what we want to keep in mind as we hear her story. So, Kate, can you share with us, when you were 15 in science class that day, what happened?
Sure. Yeah. My life literally, it changed in a single moment. It changed my life forever. This was back in 1982. I was going to school, and I happened to be in a high school chemistry class. And one day when I was there, we were just getting ready to do experiments like we had done every day. There was an explosion. A bottle of alcohol container got close to a burner, and it exploded, setting me actually on fire. And as a result, I suffered a third of my body, had deep second and third degree burns. And I was very blessed because, a teacher across the hall saved my life by smothering the flames, which she saved my life.
Well, and that was one thing I was going to ask you about because, so glad that she saved your life for sure. But I mean, in that moment, because explosions, accidents do happen. They happen in the kitchen. They happen in science class. You might be at just the wrong place at the right time, and you were basically engulfed in flames. And do you remember? Was it instant pain? Were you going in shock? What was that moment like?
To be honest, at that moment, it was like almost an out-of-body experience. I saw myself passed over, and I felt my life literally just coming away, slipping away. And at the time, all I really was just praying in my mind for one more chance to be able to tell my family how much I love them. And literally, I had tried throwing myself on the ground, but there were lab desks in the way. And that's when I call this woman, it was an angel. This teacher across the hall saved my life, and she stepped in. And so I'm so grateful because there were flames everywhere. I thought my life was over.
Well, now it's kind of interesting. So, I mean, it's good that the teacher across the way came to you and rescued you with a blanket. But did the science class not have any sprinklers? Was there no fire safety? items?
Unfortunately, that was an issue that had been recently brought up to them prior to the accident, and we were really actually, everything was being held in a biology room, so it didn't have fire blankets, sprinklers, or a lot of the other safety things that should have been in place to be doing chemistry experiments. So, as I said, by the grace of God, I was saved, with someone just going to action, getting a blanket, and smothering the flames.
Now, when you were taken to the hospital, obviously you're in immense pain. You've just been burned over a third of your body. What was the treatment like for you in that way?
To be honest, the pain, it was absolutely excruciating. I was conscious the entire time, and we were fortunate to have a ambulance and a fireman that came immediately, and they brought me to a local hospital, but then after hours, they transported me an hour away to a burn unit, and, then at that point I was given morphine, but even morphine and any of the drugs, it just couldn't even mask the pain I was in. It was pretty horrible, and that pain, honestly, it didn't just happen for days. It lasted for many, many months through my recovery.
When somebody is burned, I've never been burned myself, so I want to ask this question of you. When you are burned, is it that your flesh is gone? What's exposed? Where's the greatest pain come from?
To be honest, I had deep second and third degree burns, which means that the skin was burned down pretty deep. And so when you get to a certain point, what they had to do, there was, not to be so graphic, but there was a lot of dead tissue. So I had to go through very, very painful treatments. Probably the most horrible memory that I have to this date is every day I would have to go through, they call it debridement, where they would take you to these horrible tanks, and really it was like a torture chamber where they would have to scrape off that dead tissue to get rid of it because it was toxic. And then it took weeks to be able to complete that process, and then you're left with exposed nerves all over until they could do skin graft operation. So that's what makes it, beyond the burns itself, that's what it's such a horrible recovery for anyone who's gone through anything like that, and very, very, very painful, and almost hard to imagine that kind of pain.
And at this age, you're still 15. How did you cope during that time? How did you? What special place did you have to go to in your mind to even get through that?
I was so blessed. I have the most amazing family, and I had friends, and outpouring of love and support from the community. That was definitely left me, through so many of the dark times. But the truth is, after, I was in shock because no one ever expects to go through something like that. And when it does happen, after, a couple of days, and the reality that first I thought this was years ago, well, maybe, they could do some kind of plastic surgery or something, and understanding that I was going to be left now with these scars. And as a young girl, who had suffered body image before all this and the self-confidence issues, I couldn't even bear to look at my body or, to think about living my life, with the rest of my life in that state with these scars, because it made me feel, honestly, like a hideous monster. And I felt, my greatest fear was that no one would love me and that no one would ever see me with the same set of eyes. And that was the huge emotional toll that it started to take on at that time.
Well, and I that makes a lot of sense to me. And again, as you share with us the story, I cringe a bit because I can feel, as you say those words, I can feel that pressure and really how scary that was looking forward into your future as to how this would impact your life. And if there's a listener who's listening to the show right now who has gone through perhaps maybe they've been recently burned themselves, or is disfigured for any reason. Maybe it's another disorder they have or another accident they were in. What advice do you have for them in how to handle that mental pressure of feeling that way?
Well, first, for anyone who's gone through anything, first thing I feel immediately is compassion because for anyone, having to suffer and go through any kind of loss, it's never easy. And for anyone to sit here, everyone goes through different periods. Sometimes it's very new and they're just dealing with that, and it's very hard to see past it. But what I have learned is that, every single moment of our lives are their events, and the power that we hold is how we choose to take those events and to move forward. And I have been so blessed that someone has given me hope in my life way back when I was 15 years old that changed my life to give me that hope that maybe I could live a life I wanted. And I've been able to take that one moment and completely turn my life around and do everything that I've ever set in my life to do and to live my dreams. And so if I could share with anything to anyone is, just hold on to that hope and to believe that maybe that's possible for you too. And to know, there's other people that maybe might be able to be an example to you, to help you that you have gone through something similar. And if not, there are ways that you could start rebuilding your life the way I did.
Mm-hmm. Well, hope is important, and I'm just curious, who was that person that gave you that hope?
Well, unfortunately, I don't know her exact name. I call her Hope now myself, but she was a volunteer that came into the hospital, and it was on one of my darkest days, and I was honestly just could not see my future or a bright future at all, and I wanted just to give up on life. And she came in, and she had been through something similar, and when she came in, she looked completely normal to me, and I didn't understand anything, and she had suffered burns as well, and she went on to tell me how she, got married, had children, traveled, had a career.
Hey, Kate, I'm sorry. We're going to have to go to a break here shortly, but I want to come back, and we're going to talk about hope in a second. So everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back after this break. Okay.
Look for the bare necessities.
The bare necessities of healthy living are easier than you think.
You better believe it.
And the food pyramid shows you the way with just the right amount of exercise and the necessary grains, vegetables, fruits, milk, and meats and beans.
Just the bare necessities of life.
So eat right, be active, and have fun.
Yeah, man.
For your own path to a healthier you, visit mypyramid.gov.
This is really living.
This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Agriculture and the Ad Council.
Hey, Jack, you got a sec?
Yeah, sure, come on in.
Yeah, I was wondering if you... Jack, your hair's on fire.
Yeah, I know. I just need to finish this sales report, and then I'll probably, let me lie down for a bit. But I'm sure it'll go away.
But the flames are getting bigger. Shouldn't I... Your hair, there's so much fire.
No, I'll be fine. What can I help you with? Oh, dear. Well, at least we know the sprinkler system works.
You wouldn't ignore this. So why ignore the signs of a stroke? If you or someone you know suddenly experiences numbness of the face, arm, or leg, or sudden trouble speaking, seeing, or walking, don't wait to get help. Call 911 right away, because time lost is brain lost. To find out more, visit www.strokeassociation.org or call 1-888-4STROKE. This message brought to you by the American Stroke Association and the Ad Council.
This is a test to find out if you know it all when it comes to children. Name one of the leading killers of U.S. children age 1 to 13. What's the best way to protect children in a car crash? At what age and size should a child start using a booster seat?
Don't assume you know it all when it comes to car seats for your child. Go to safercar.gov/the right seat and know for sure. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a trusted life coach, Nancy will help you overcome setbacks and embrace all life has to offer. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. I am Nancy Solari, and today we are talking about being healthy and having a healthy life, at least as healthy as we can, right? And sometimes we have control over that, and sometimes we don't. But it just starts by acknowledging ways in which we can strengthen our life in a healthier way. You know, what aspects of our life can we enhance? Can we put a little bit more attention to today, tomorrow, and moving forward? Now, our inspirational guest, Kate Waite, and I were just talking, and she was sharing with us about how at 15 she was burned in her science class, over 1/3 of her body, and just really the excruciating pain that went through to go through the healing and recovering process. But she was just sharing with us about a lady who she calls Hope, who was somebody, a stranger to her, who came in and really gave her some encouragement when she needed it most. So I'd like to welcome Kate back to the show.
Thank you, Nancy.
Hi, Kate. So,
yes.
You know, the reason why I wanted to go back to Hope for a second, and I love that you call her Hope, even though you don't know her name, is because I think it's important for all of us to remember that we can be that person for somebody else. And
Absolutely.
when Hope came into your room that day and you were just thinking, okay, my life is over, and she told you that, you know, it's going to be okay, did you believe her? Or did you just kind of go, yeah, okay, your situation must have been different than mine?
You know, she was the first person who I honestly was able to relate to because, you know, especially being burned in a fire, it's such a unique thing. You hear about people breaking bones or having other kinds of, you know, illnesses or problems, but you don't really ever hear of that. And so I felt very, very alone and alienated. And so although I had other people, loving, you know, people who were encouraging me to be positive, when I actually saw an example of someone who had walked not the same path, but a similar path, and that they were able to, you know, make so much of their life, that really touched me at that time. And that one person, I mean, it really just gave me the hope to think, what if? What if it's possible? And that's all I needed to start with. And honestly, when I left the hospital, it empowered me to say, you know what? I don't know how. I don't know, you know, I'm not 100% on this, but I have the belief now that I know that it's been, you know, it's possible. It's possible. So not to give up on it. And that hope made me realize that she had just given me my life back by just having that hope. And I knew somehow, some way, I was going to be able to pay that forward in my life. And I'm grateful that that's what I've been able to, you know, do through a book and through speaking and, you know, to just, whether just sharing it with one other person, you know, my experience. And to be honest, I've been through other, you know, circumstances in my life. Everyone goes through different things. But, you know, just to have the hope sometimes is all we need, just to take the next step forward and to see, you know, it will sometimes show you that's where the courage comes out that you didn't know we had, the strength, and the new possibilities and new beginnings that are there that we would never have imagined if we just have that hope and faith.
I love that. Thank you for clarifying and sharing that, because it is a really important message to really bring home here today. You know, after your healing was done, after you left the hospital, what state was your final injuries in? You know, what were the after effects of everything? Like, you know, in terms of your burns, were they still noticeable, and how much so, and where in your body?
Yes. You know, that was probably one of the hardest things that I did have to come to terms with. I mean, have, to this day, I have visible scars from on both my legs, from just below my knees to the front and backs of my legs, and on my lower abdomen. And then there was emotionally, the healing took me a very long time, I'll be honest. But that being said, what I'm able to do, and through the years, this, where I saw these hideous scars, I am now able to open my eyes to really seeing a new kind of beauty in my life and defining beauty in a whole new way. And that comes, by having the gratitude and thanks for all that I have in my life, for the, being able to look back and say, well, yeah, I have these scars, but I have legs that can function and move. And so I start focusing on my positives instead of what I do have instead of what I don't have. And all the other blessings that I've been, given through my life through the way. So it's really shifted the way I appreciate my life, the gratitude I have, and, the compassion I'm able to, feel for others. I feel like it's opened that even greater for other people. And it's really a beautiful shift that has been able to take something that it once was viewed as, thought of as ugly, and to really turn it around and use it and to see the beauty in my life.
Well, and that makes perfect sense. One of the things that I think we all encounter in life, maybe for you it was you had these burns on your legs, or maybe for someone else they might feel overweight and in a situation where they're wearing something they wish they weren't. There's always going to be these situations where we're like, oh God. And so I'm just curious, I'm sure for you that might have been in a bathing suit, it might have been maybe a date that you wanted to look really good for or whatever. And we're all going to have that moments. How did you calm yourself down? How did you bring yourself to be present within the moment? Because it is so easy to run away with our thoughts and be like, no one's going to want me because of my burned legs, right. or people are going to make fun of me. People are going to laugh at me. Or if they did look at you or stare at you, how did you handle that in the moment?
That's a great question, because that is probably one of the biggest struggles that I did have to overcome. And, going back to Hope, she was the one, who gave me that maybe, because my dream had always been to be married and have a family. And after my accident, I felt hideous. I thought no one would ever love me. I was unlovable. That was my greatest fear. And so to be a young woman, to think about dating and no less to opening my heart and my, to exposing this part of me, because honestly, my scars are what you call hidden scars. So I could very well put on a pair of jeans or pants or a skirt that covered my knee, and no one would really ever know anything. So to really put myself out there was terrifying, to be honest. But I was gentle about, it wasn't something I could just dive into. As I said, I would wear skirts, and when I went to the beach, I felt more comfortable wearing, like a sarong as a cover-up. Because there were a few times, I'll be honest, when I remember when I was first burned that I was at the beach or something, that I heard there were some young kids that had just kind of pointed and stared, and that was very, very hurtful. And so it took a lot of strength to move past it, but I was willing to, just because of Hope, is thinking that, maybe there would be someone out there that's going to love me and see me for me, who I really am, and see past these scars. And I was so blessed. I dated a little bit in my teens after that. I was very cautious and a little, nervous about dating, but I did date a little, and then I was very blessed to have met my husband. And I have to tell you, I love my husband. He's a very handsome, intelligent, great guy with a wonderful heart, but one of the things I love most about him is that he never once looked at me as if he saw my scars. They've been invisible to him. And, I think, I've learned and as I've grown and matured that, it is possible to find that real love and the true love, and there are people, that will see us for, our real souls and who we really are, and see what really matters.
What do you think is the greatest lesson that you've learned from this? Like when you look back, because, in some ways, what if this accident had never happened? What if you were never burned? That your direction maybe would have gone the same way, maybe it would have gone a different way. But what's the one takeaway that you can say from this experience?
Well, I do have many takeaways, but I'll be honest. I've been asked this before, and as emotionally and physically excruciating as this accident was, I would never want to go through it again or wish it on anyone, but I am grateful for every experience I've had in my life, and especially this event, because it really opened my eyes to really discovering a whole new way to see the beauty in life that I believe I would just have missed out on completely. And it's from really, as I said, from a heartfelt level, having gratitude for what I do have and not for what I don't have. Opening my heart more, I think it just opened it even more to helping others and wanting to do that. It's taught me so much about my strength and my courage that I don't think I would have noticed had it not been tested at times. You are courageous. I mean, that's definitely one word I would say about you. I never felt that way, but you know what? Here's the thing, and for anyone who's going through adversity, and if you're not feeling strong, sometimes it just takes upon to look back in your life another time when you've gotten through a hurdle. And, it came from me later. I never thought of myself as strong, after I went through my accident. I thought, I'm not strong. What a choice did I have? But I did have a choice because I chose to get up and not just stay under the covers and to go on with life, not knowing what tomorrow brings, but to open myself to maybe it's going to be, even better than I could have imagined. And open my heart, which has given me so much love in my life, for my friends, my husband, my children, and my family. I feel so blessed. Well, you are living life full out. And in a big way, and I love that. And I just want to thank you. We're running out of time here, but I want to thank you for being part of our show today. And, everybody, this was Kate Waite, and such an extraordinary story. And so thank you again, Kate, for being a part of our show today. Oh, thank you so much, Nancy. It was such an honor. Oh, thank you. And everybody will be coming right back after this break, taking your calls. We'll be back.
Hey, Dad.
Yeah?
You remember that ball game we went to a couple years ago?
Sure.
And how you didn't have enough cash for 2 hot dogs, so you walked with me on your shoulders until we found an ATM? And then when we got back to our seats, we never saw the hot dog guy again.
Well, I don't remember all that.
Yeah, that was an awesome game.
You never know which moments will be the ones they'll remember forever, so take time to be a dad today. Learn more at 1-877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov.
Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Medical mistakes claim tens of thousands of lives every year. The healthcare community is working on it, but you can help. When you communicate with your doctor, when you ask more questions, you reduce your risk of suffering a medical mistake. Doctors can't answer if you don't ask. Help reduce your risk. Questions are the answer. Learn the 10 questions you must ask. Visit www.ahrq.gov. This message brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the Agency for Healthcare Research and Quality, and the Ad Council.
I'm getting a catcher's mitt.
I'm getting ice skates. I'm getting a devastating flood.
Adults are generous. We're even giving kids global warming, but we can still reduce greenhouse gas pollution. Go to fightglobalwarming.com. Brought to you by Environmental Defense, the Robertson Foundation, and the Ad Council.
There are many sounds in your daily life. Ones that make you smile. Ones that help you relax. And there are some sounds that can help save lives. Wireless emergency alerts. Now on many mobile devices, use a unique sound and vibration to bring you critical information about emergencies in your area. With updates from local sources you know and trust, you can be in the know wherever you are. Learn more at ready.gov/alerts. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
The odds of this Alaskan-born pitcher being selected to the Major League Baseball All-Star Game 6 times? 1 in 48 million. The odds of this fast-balling philanthropist winning the World Series 3 times? 1 in 3 million. The odds of this man having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 110. Hi, I'm Kurt Schilling. Learn the signs of autism at autismspeaks.org. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
It's time to live full out. It's time to look at where in our life do we want to be more healthy? Do we want to improve and maybe improve our habits or take on a new hobby or connect with other people that are like-minded with us? The time is now to engage, to, again, take ourselves up just one more level. When you do that, you're taking control of your life, you're growing, you're educating yourself, and that is about living your life full out.
You're listening to Living Full Out with Nancy Solari. As a certified life coach, Nancy can help you to overcome challenges and start living full out. Call in with questions live at 800-333-0001. Once again, that's 800-333-0001. And now, here's Nancy.
All right, here we are. I can't believe it. Last segment of the show, and we are going to be taking your calls, 800-333-0001. But we are talking today about being healthy in life, and I don't say that lightheartedly. It's interesting. You may or may not know, our full community knows that I'm legally blind, and for anybody just joining us, I am. And it's been interesting for me over the years because I've always asked the question to my doctors, what can I do to make my eyes healthy? I know I can't cure my vision, but what can I do? And they always say, drink less, work out, eat the right things. And it's funny how that answer is a similar answer for many questions we have in life. Someone might turn to somebody else. Maybe they have diabetes, or maybe they're just looking, they're feeling overweight, or they're feeling a lack of energy. It always comes down to get sleep, eat right, get some exercise in your day, and really having a strong mindset. So again, let's talk about mindset. That's one of the biggest places you want to put your attention as we close today's show. Because as we've talked about today with Kate Waite, and her story of, overcoming the accident and being burned over 1/3 of her body and having to really put herself in the place of what if, giving herself hope, or whether it's our callers who have called in really at their own crossroad in life, trying to find peace, trying to find balance. The great thing is all of that is at our fingertips. It is at our ability to do. Now, we can't snap our fingers and make everything perfect. I can't snap my fingers and all of a sudden have 20/20 vision. Sometimes we can't snap our fingers and have the job we want or the relationship we want. But the great thing is that we still have hope. We still have an opportunity to do that. And to be healthy will give you the energy, will give you the patience, will give you the balance that you need to get through all those crossroads, all those hurdles, all those obstacles of life. You got this. You can manage those. You can handle those. But you can only handle them when you're feeling your best. So when you put yourself in negative situations, when you're eating things unhealthy, getting no sleep, you're not allowing yourself to be at your best so that when those challenges come rolling in, and we know they are, you're not able to handle them in the way that you like. So think about that today as we kind of close things up here on what you can do different today to live a healthier life. We're going to go to the phone lines now. Welcome to the Living Full Out Show. Hi, welcome.
Good afternoon.
Hi, thank you for joining us. What's going on today?
Well, I'm a 74-year-old man, and I do mentoring to youth between the ages of 14 and 22. And I need help in how can I better understand them morally and then be an advisor to them.
So that's interesting. And I love your question, first of all. And thank you for doing the work that you do. Thank you for being that mentor for them. Because I don't know if that's something you do outside of your job or if that's what you do for your job. But either way, it's time well spent because you're making a difference in their lives. But it's interesting that you started off saying, I'm a 74-year-old man. And then you went on to tell me about the age group that you mentor, which is great. But I think one of the first places to start is to close that gap. Remember that you were 18, you were 22 once, you know, and to tap into connecting with them morally would be to really do your work. It's kind of, you know, outside of the time with them, do your own homework to maybe remember back to those times in your life. And what were some stories that you can remember that you can maybe write down or put in a recorder and make it relatable to them? Because we're all gonna come to those. We're all gonna be challenged, right? We're all gonna hit those crossroads, and especially in the teenage years and the early 20s, we usually all encounter those same kind of awkward times because we're growing, we're learning, we're trying to figure out who we are, right? So if you were to reflect back when you were 18 to 22 and you could find those examples where you were morally challenged, and if you could remember what did you do, what thought process did you go through, you know, did you go one direction and you made a mistake and then you're like, oh, I wish I hadn't done that, and maybe you went another direction, you know, kind of giving them that play-by-play will make more relatable, will allow you to tap in. And what it will also do is it'll start conversation. Because now you can say to them, I mean, I don't know if any of you relate to my story, but I'd love to know, you know, I'd love to know your story. Does that make sense?
Yes.
What is your biggest fear for these kids in terms of when you mentor them and you're concerned about them morally? What is your biggest fear for them?
My biggest fear is they don't, what I call moral, they don't have that compared to when I was a child or when I was growing up.
Mm-hmm. Now,
They're
isn't
not
it fair
being
to say,
taught.
right, but isn't it fair to say that maybe, well, we all have a similar walk. They do live in a different time.
Yes.
So what you might want to do is ask them about that. You know, again, share your story about growing up in your time and your convictions and all of that. But ask them, you know, where do they feel challenged morally? Have you asked them that?
No. Okay, now I can understand that.
Okay. So one of the greatest lessons that I learned in life was to always, rather than talking about ourselves, and there's a lot of times I go out with people and they're like, Nancy, I've been sitting with you for an hour. How are you doing? Because I'm more invested in them. So when you connect with these youngsters, these groups, these young adults, you want to ask them you want to have some stories of your own so you can connect with them, and that was the first part of our conversation. But aside from that, you want to turn it on them. Just get them talking. Where do they feel challenged morally? You know, what mistakes what decisions have they made that they wish they hadn't? And what could they have done differently? Just get them talking, because really, being a mentor, you're a sounding board, right?
Yes. That's
so
great.
Is that some?
Yes. I'll put that in my memory bank.
Good.
Yeah,
And you know what? Again, I'm so glad that you're out there doing what you do. And the fact that you called and inquired today about how you can grow and expand as a mentor, that just says so much about the person you are. So I want you to walk around today just saying to yourself, wow, I'm doing it. Everything in life might not be perfectly in place, but I am doing it. I am living this life, and I'm helping others. Okay?
Yes, thank you very much, Nancy.
You got it. Thank you for calling in.
Okay. Have a great day.
You too. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, he asked such a great question. Part of being healthy, part of living full out is kind of checking in. That's why when our callers call and they ask such great questions, it's kind of like a check-in. And sometimes in life, you have to check in with yourself. Am I handling situations the best way I could be? Am I eating the best things I could be? Am I, doing too much technology in my life, or could I do it a little bit differently? Just having those check-ins with yourself will help guide you to a healthier life as well. And I want to take this moment to, thank everybody who put the Living Full Out show together today in the studio. We got Stephanie, we got Mai, we got Mindy and Rich, and everybody who called in today. You're a part of the show as well. And of course, our inspirational guests. Boy, I'm telling you, when I think about being burned, ouch. I mean, that just... I can't even imagine. And the fact that she survived it with so much grace. Thank you so much, Kate Waite, for sharing with us your story. And, of course, we'll be back next week sharing more stories, growing together. But if you've learned something from today's show that's impacted you, that's touched you, or if you have a story that you'd like to share and you feel like you may be a good guest and a good example of living full out, we'd love to hear from you. Just reach out to us at connect@livingfullout.com. And, of course, if you want to hear today's show again, go to livingfullout.com and click on the radio show tab. You can check out today's show and all of our shows. And I mean, it's funny. I was listening to our shows the other day, and I'm even the host of the show, and I was thinking, wow, there's some good stuff here. So I promise you this, if you go back, there's lessons in every show we have, and they're all dedicated to you. We're invested in you being healthy, but also living your life full out. And remember this, we have today. Today is the only thing you can count on. Don't freak out about tomorrow. Don't get anxious about yesterday. You just want to relish in today. You want to grow in every way that you can today. And if you do that, you're not only going to have peace, you're not only going to feel balance, but you will be living a life full out. We'll be back next week. See you then.